In the great stone halls of Eldoria, young Rosalind swept quietly, her little feet echoing on the cold floor. Lady Varel stood tall and stern, pointing without words, always demanding, never kind. In the quiet of her attic, Rosalind held her pendant tight, her only link to a forgotten past. Long ago, on a stormy night, a stranger left a baby at the manor gate whispering, "Protect the rose." Each day began with work, hauling water, feeding animals, and cleaning what never stayed clean. But one morning, as she passed the old archway, her pendant glowed softly beneath her dress. In the garden, a white rose shimmered with light, unlike any flower she'd ever seen. Far above, Lady Varel watched from her window, her eyes sharp with growing suspicion. Rosalind tiptoed through the dusty library, reaching for a book marked with a silver rose. By candlelight, the book revealed a hidden kingdom, ruled by a queen with a rose crown. Cradling the book under her apron, she made her way back through silent castle halls. That night, stars danced above her bed, whispering secrets only her heart could hear. She woke bathed in golden light, her pendant warm, glowing with something new. But the peace was shattered. Lady Varel stormed in and snatched the book from her arms. She locked the library with iron keys, sealing away the truth she feared most. Rosalind wept, but the wind carried petals through her window, white, glowing, and free. Far beyond the gates, a rider approached, weary from storms, guided by hope. It was Prince Elias, wounded and searching for the one who bore the silver rose. When their eyes met by the garden wall, her pendant flared like a star reawakening. She led him to the gardener's shed, laying him gently on blankets, heart racing. As he slept, the pendant glowed brighter, weaving magic around them both. On her tower, Varel spotted smoke and narrowed her eyes. Danger had arrived. Rosalind read pages she had copied, the pendant whispering as she followed its tail. Elias awoke, staring at the pendant, realizing it bore Eldoria's true crest. She told him everything through soft gestures, and he listened with awe and belief. From his satchel, he pulled a map, marked with the throne of the Lost Rose Kingdom. As they vowed to find it, the pendant opened, revealing a glowing seed of light. But down dark halls Varel marched, her cloak swirling, storm winds rising. Together, Rosalind and Elias fled through the hidden tunnel once used by queens. And far beyond the forest, the ruins of a lost kingdom shimmered, waiting to be reclaimed. Rosalind stepped into the forest's hush, where even the wind dared not speak aloud. Ancient roots stirred beneath her touch, as if they knew her name before she did. The forest bowed to her light, and a path bloomed where none had dared walk. They found her face in stone, crowned in roses, buried beneath time's weight. When the pendant met the rose, the sleeping magic of Eldoria began to breathe again. They walked a trail lit by memories, fireflies dancing to forgotten songs. Moths of light circled her gently, echoes of queens who once ruled in peace. Beneath moss and silence, the old world stirred to the rhythm of her hands. Lines of history glowed beneath her touch, revealing a legacy long hidden. From the dark, glowing eyes watched, and yet they waited, not hunted. A creature of thorns rose from the shadows, bound by roots, fear, and sorrow. She stepped forward without fear, and the forest bent to her calm. Her light dissolved the beast into petals, its anger lifted like mist on the breeze. The woods opened before them now, no longer cursed but curious. At the stream's edge, stars danced on water and silence sang its truth. On the stone, they found a map, the path to what once was and what must be. The hollow tree whispered secrets, and the light within knew her heart. A gate of roses bloomed at her feet, waking from centuries of sleep. The garden beyond remembered her, its petals pulsing with joy. She returned the pendant to its cradle, and the garden exhaled in gold. Light spiraled around her, symbols singing in air no one had breathed for years. Far away, Lady Varel's heart turned colder as she sensed the magic rising. The pendant spoke in forgotten verses of thrones, bloodlines, and betrayal. In her rose, Elias saw a truth carved in crest and crown. Though words escaped her lips, her truth filled the night like music. He offered a map, marked with a throne lost to war, but not to time. When their hands met, the rose opened, and light bloomed in seed and soul. But darkness quickened, and Varel moved like a shadow across the stone. Through a queen's forgotten tunnel, they walked toward destiny's root. The pendant shone beneath stars, and far ahead, the ruins called her home. Beneath the twilight sky, the ruins whispered, welcoming Rosalind and Elias with echoes of forgotten time. Her pendant glowed with quiet strength, lighting their path through mossy stones and broken walls. She reached out, touching a carved rose, and the ground beneath her trembled with magic long asleep. From the earth, soft light spiraled upward, petals of memory blooming into magic once more. A figure emerged from silver glow, tall, ethereal, wrapped in light and time itself. He stood still, eyes gentle and ancient, guardian of Eldoria, drawn to her light. Elias stepped close, heart wary, but the spirit made no threat, only reverence. Rosalind stepped forward, fearless, her pendant pulsing in time with the guardian's gaze. With a quiet bow, the guardian knelt, not to royalty, but to a child of destiny. The floor beneath her feet shimmered, a glowing rose crest spiraled with enchanted grace. On the wall, colors bloomed, an ancient queen holding a child with a silver rose. Rosalind's breath caught. The baby in the mural wore her pendant. Light surged from her chest, warm, alive, as if the stones remembered her name. She lifted gently into the air, cradled by magic that had waited a lifetime. When she touched the earth again, the palace itself seemed to breathe once more. Lanterns floated into the air, lighting a hidden path among the ruins. At the end, they found a broken seal, ringed with stone petals humming softly. Rosalind stepped forward, her pendant shining, waking symbols carved in ancient hands. A shadow burst from the seal, smoke and hate coiled into a twisted shape. Lady Varel rose, cloaked in darkness, her eyes burning red through the gloom. Ilarion stepped before Rosalind, blades of light gleaming with ancient promise. Her pendant flared, a dome of silver light shielding her in warmth and wonder. The shadow hissed, unraveling, its power fading before the child's glow. The seal split, revealing a staircase spiraling deep into Eldoria's roots. They stood at the edge of the unknown, Rosalind in the middle, calm and glowing. One step, then another. Their journey descended through memory's bones. At the bottom, a chamber waited. Gold stars above, a silver rose ahead. She reached for it, and light leapt from her pendant to awaken the bloom. The rose rose into her hands, petals of magic, soft as whispered truths. Together they stood, chosen by light. The ruins no longer felt empty. Beneath stone and silence, they followed the pulse of forgotten magic. Light remembered her name, and the mountain began to whisper back. Each step forward brought her closer to a truth buried in stone. In the silence, she faced herself, alone but unafraid. From the water rose the spirit of sorrow, Eldoria, queen forsaken. Their hearts met in silence, pain shared, not feared. The past unfurled its sorrow, and she dared to feel it all. A child's compassion mended what time had shattered. She let go of the sorrow, and the mountain bloomed in peace. She had faced the mountain's heart and left it beating with hope. A door sealed by sorrow answered to a child's light. Through Eldoria's veins, the mountain breathed memories of gold and grief. In every reflection, destiny whispered, but she listened only to truth. Where light flowed like water, the mountain remembered its queen. The heart of the mountain answered the child with ancient trust. Her light touched the roots of the mountain, asking nothing, only peace. Only a heart unbound could gather the rose that unlocks fate. She stepped where none dared, guided only by truth and tenderness. Deeper still, grief waited in silence, longing to be seen. A gesture of trust bridged the wound of 1,000 years. Where all was broken, her heart called wholeness from the dark. Not of blood, but of heart. She wore the crown made of memory. The queen passed on, not through farewell, but through legacy. The mountain had spoken, and the chosen had heard. Together they rose, carrying the light of the mountain into the world above. From shadow to sunrise, they stepped into a world waiting to heal. She left no mark but bloom, no command but kindness. The heart of a child can mend what time forgot. Among laughter and petals, Eldoria breathed once more. And so, with crown, light, and love, the girl who bloomed beneath the mountain became Eldoria's dawn. The final chamber opened, not to power, but to truth. In the garden of memory, her light awakened the ancient song. The last rose waited, not to be claimed, but to be chosen. Darkness returned, not to destroy, but to claim what never belonged. The battle raged around her, but within her bloomed a deeper strength. Her stillness held more power than any blade or spell. She spoke not with words, but with the echo of kindness. And in that silence, the darkness began to shatter. From ruin and fear, she called forth harmony. The mountain itself listened and breathed. A queen's sorrow found its mirror in a child's grace. The crown was never lost, only waiting to be remembered. Light wove through her spirit, binding past and present. She asked for nothing, and in return was given everything. The bloom eternal rose not from power, but from love. Shadows faded not by force, but by forgiveness. What was broken long ago began to mend beneath her feet. She held the past gently, and it no longer hurt. Her courage stitched the final petal into place. With every breath, Eldoria remembered its name. The legacy of sorrow bloomed into a promise. No crown weighed heavier than a kind heart. The girl they followed had become the hope they needed. Eldoria no longer wept, it bloomed. The mountain gave its blessing in light and silence. What once was hidden now shone in open air. She walked as a child, but stood as a flame. Where she stepped, petals followed. Her laughter healed what centuries could not. And so the last light rose, not as a farewell, but as a beginning.